Hey guys, this is Loony and welcome to episode 19 of my Loony Hardcore Adventure. In this episode, we take on the first massive project as I remove 750,000 blocks of water sources. But every time we get a drown with a trident, we will definitely go out and defeat it because I want a trident so badly, and the same goes for Nautilus shells. Initially, I didn't think much of this drown. I looked around and I thought he didn't drop the trident, but as I was working on the circle diameter, look what I found! That's a great one because now we can get channeling and start collecting mob heads soon, which I'm really looking forward to since it's a lot of fun to do. Before I could get started with draining any more water, I had to make a perimeter and build a huge glass wall all the way from the ocean floor to the surface of the water. I decided that I wanted to make this circle 180 blocks in diameter. And I went for this number because the ocean monument is 58, so just about 60. And I figured if I have another ocean monument worth of space on either side, it won't look like the ocean monument is filling up the entire glass circle, and we actually have a little bit of room inside to work with. Now, since circles are a bit hard to build intuitively, I use a tool for this, and it's a very nice one. I googled Minecraft circle schematic a while ago, but I use this for everything, so I'll link it in the description, and I highly recommend you use it too, because it just makes working with circles so much easier. And as you can see, once you get it right, it gives a very nice smooth curve. With the reference circle in place, the next step was placing glass, and I'm using all the sand that I was using before to drain out the inside of the monument structure, but now I smelt it so I can use it for glass pillars. At this point, sometimes we're making inefficient choices. For example, smelting with lava buckets in single furnaces is not the fastest way to go. But at this point, I really want to just focus on the project, and I'll solve all the technical stuff later when I organize my base a little bit more. There was one thing, however, in the technical department that I wanted to do now. Because a little while ago I fixed my iron farm. It is giving decent rates now, but I want to have it up and running all the time, no matter where I am in the world. So I built these chunk loaders, but they were giving me a little bit of trouble because somehow it seemed like the portal was inverted, and one time the minecart would be coming out on the left lane, next time it would be coming out on the right lane, and that made it a very unreliable system. So what I tried to do is make a mirror image inverted setup to send the minecart back, hoping that regardless of whichever way the minecart went, it would come back anyway. And this seemed to be working eventually, so I went back to getting more resources and placing the glass. One of the things I needed before I started was leaves, because I needed immovable blocks that would not stick to sticky pistons. So I got these leaves, then I got some more sand, and then on the way back I saw a beautiful sunset, which I thought I would share with you guys in the video as well. When I had all the resources I needed, I started building a huge leaf wall, and this was to be the first side of the first lane that I needed to clear my ocean monument. But once I realized how many leaf blocks I was actually using, I decided to do a little bit more research because this method was going to be so much work, and I'm really glad I did the extra research because I found a newer video by Ilmango who showcased the design made by Tokiane, and this design was the best way to clear out water I could find. And this redstone machine did a very good job, and it was super cool to see it work. And it is quite tricky to make machines like this because you have to be very specific with how you set it up. There has to be a mirror image receiving station on the other end, and this has to be set up properly. And if you make a mistake, these machines will get stuck. And also, when you're new to doing something like this, as I was here, you have to be aware that you will face problems that you didn't expect. And gradually, when you build a lot of these machines, you start getting better, start getting quicker, and you also start seeing where the problems are. And that's actually a super nice side effect of doing big projects like this in a way you didn't try before, because you learn a lot about how the game works, how these redstone designs work, and why they work. And that means that if you start seeing problems, you actually start seeing ways to fix them as well. To be fair though, the best moment in a project like this is when you finish setting the whole thing up, you walk through all the steps of the design, you copy the instruction video, you check it, you double check it, and then you walk up, hoping that it will work, take out the flint and steel, and go up to activate it. And this moment, the moment where you light it up, and the machine starts going, it is very, very satisfying, because at this moment you know that the entire project is going to be a lot of work, but it will work out. It's actually possible and it's going to happen. So you're en route to making a cooler project than anything you've ever made before. And that for me was a very, very satisfying highlight. And I will be honest with you guys, this entire project of draining this huge space, it was a struggle. And it took a while. It took well over 30 hours to get rid of all the water. But when I finally did, it was super satisfying. And this moment that we're gonna see right now was the 1-year anniversary of my world. 365 days deserves a little dance, wouldn't you say? But I only had a little moment to dance to celebrate the first in-game year passing, because I had to get back to work, and there was a lot of work because I started draining the first part of the structure around the monument, and then I realized that all these kelp plants going up were causing me problems because they were keeping entire pillars of water from being removed. That meant that some of the areas weren't draining properly, and this is a prime example of one of the problems that you find out during a project like this when you get a little bit more experience with the setup you're working with. All in all though, we were making very, very good progress, and this shot you see right now with the machines moving the water behind me is probably my favorite part of this entire part of the build, because this is amazing. The amount of blocks that they are removing, it's insane, because this area is a 180 block diameter circle. Now, if we take a square and draw a circle in it, the area that the circle covers is 78.5% of the square. So let's say 180 times 180, that's 32,400 blocks. And then we take 30 layers on average from the surface of the water to the ocean floor. 78% of that comes down to well over 750,000 blocks. And that's just a crazy number. Now this number is also quite safe, because I think on average we might be deeper than 30 blocks, because the ocean floor is quite low. Now the majority of the area was cleared by the redstone machines, but on occasion we had to go down with sponges to cover those areas that we couldn't do with the machines. And as you might see around the wall of the circle, I also have these sand walls set up, and these are meant to catch the flying machines and have the return station send them back to the other side. However, behind these sand walls, we still have a lot of water sources left, and sponges are the easiest way to get rid of them. So that's why earlier we went on this crazy monument spree to make sure that we had enough, and I'm really happy we did, because it made this part of the process a whole lot faster. sometimes during a big project like this, it's very important to take a little break and go do something else, which is why every now and then at night I would go out to get my bow and shoot a few mobs. Main reason for this being that I need to get some gunpowder, and I don't really have any farms set up yet except for the iron farm, which is fine because I will try to get as many farms as possible inside of this ocean monument structure, so I don't have them all over the place, scattered about outside, taking up a lot of room. I kind of want to hide everything neatly together in the base. One other thing I have to think about all the time is that we are in the ocean, which means there is not a lot of surface area around, and I have to make sure to keep everything lit up because we are playing hardcore. I don't want to die, and if there are not many spawning spaces available, the spawning spaces that are available will get a lot of mods, which is why I'm trying to light everything up. Speaking of which, this leaf wall, I don't need it anymore, so I decided the most fun way to get rid of it? Light it up. And I won't lie about it. This was a nice thing to see. I really enjoyed this picture. But I also kept enjoying this. Seeing the redstone flying machines get rid of all the blocks was such a satisfying thing. And these return stations, quite amazing. Look at that. So well designed. It's really, really incredible. The entire project was going really, really smooth, but sometimes we had a little scary moment. This was one. But after we got rid of the phantoms, it was time to check how well the iron farm was doing, and I can say I was not disappointed. I hadn't been here for a little while, but I was very happy to see this because this raid means we won't need any iron anymore. This is going to be a steady supply forever. And as the draining machines brought us closer to the ocean floor, it was time to start placing some sand walls in again and get back to some good old-fashioned sponge work to actually get rid of the last water. The result? I'll show you next time. This is it for now. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in episode 20.